Afternoon to everyone. Today we are going to have a look, a sneak peek at Power Automate. And before we go into what is actually a Power Automate, let me introduce myself a bit. My name is Surya Munawara Usmani binti Othman, but don't worry, you don't have to call me my full name. Just call me Sue. I'm Microsoft certified trainer, staying in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. So I'm a Selangorian. Hopefully I have someone who is also from Selangor here. That's all about me. The agenda for today will be introduction of what is Power Automate. We might be wondering what is actually Power Automate. Is it programming? Or is it not a programming, or is it just like Excel, Word, or PowerPoint? And then we will see different types of Power Automate. Or we also call it as a flow. We also call it as a flow. Third, we are going to see how to actually, let's say, for example, we are going to send an email, just so that they actually think that we remember their birthday. Demo, and then another demo will be, let's say if I already have a form and I'm going to conduct a training, for example, or conduct an event. I will show everyone once I ran, not myself running lah kan. Once I run my flow, those who actually registered using my form will be able to get email confirmation. Last but not least, we will see also, let's say if as a trainer, and I need to send invoices to training providers after my training. So what I can do is I can create a flow, and then of course I have to create an Excel file that has all the details. So whenever I run that flow, all the training providers listed in the Excel file will be able to get the email. So I don't have to initiate, I don't have to manually create the email, because I already initiate the flow earlier on. Before we go into all the things that I've mentioned, earlier, I need everybody to help me. Please get ready with your handphone, or let's say if you're using your laptop or you're in the office, feel free to use your laptop as well. Please scan the QR code. Don't worry, this is not my Sejahtera. Please scan the QR code. You will be directed to menti.com. And there is actually a question that I would like to ask to everyone here. Let's say if there's something that we can record. Let's say, for example, if I created a video in YouTube. So after I created a video in YouTube, of course, I need to let everybody knows that I already created a video. Then definitely I need to post to my Twitter, I need to post to my LinkedIn. Rather than doing it manually, then I can actually create an automation so that every time I upload my video, I don't have to do all those things that I mentioned earlier. Does everybody manage to go to menti.com, or do you need the code? If you need the code, let me post the code. Hold on,
No need code. I can able to scan the QR code and then it will straight bring me to the page and
Yeah, because sometimes let's say if you are using laptop, then you might not be able to scan the QR code. Okay. Eileen,
Yes.
I paste inside. Hold on,
Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, yes.
Uh, oh, okay. Hold on. I think if I use this one, you don't have to key in the code. Okay, try.
Okay. Click on the link. It brings me to your menti.com.
Okay, so reminders. I want to back up my files. My boss. What happened to the boss?
They like to automate the boss.
Or maybe send a reminder to bring something for the boss. Is it? Postage, reports, fueling, cooking, reminders, work. Okay. I want to back up my files. Okay. So all these except my boss. Okay. Fueling, cooking cannot lah. Okay. Postage, work. Okay. I want to back up my files. It can be done. Okay. Let's say if you need to set a reminder. Let's say for example, you know there are certain tasks that you need to do at a certain time. Okay. So we can always create a reminder for that. Clean my house. L, to you ke?
Janganlah review macam tu.
Okay. Let me copy and paste. Okay, everybody done? Oh, okay. Reminders to people to do their work. So can I do? Okay, good. Understand? Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me copy and paste. Okay, hold on. Okay, if you look at the chat area, we can see that some of the things that we would like to automate is actually something that we did repetitively. Yeah, we did repetitively. For example, like we need to back up our files, we need to prepare reports, we need to yang my boss tu apa? Okay, create my slides. Okay, so those are the things that we might want to do. And those are the things that we hope that we can automate. Okay, kind of like we prepare one time and we can repetitively use what we created earlier. Okay, so Power Automate. Okay, Power Automate is actually to turn repetitive tasks into multi-step workflow. So meaning, first we are going to set the flow, what we would like to do. Okay, for example, number one, what we would like to do. Then we set, after we completed task number one, what is the next task that we would like to do? Then once we completed our next task, what is the other task that we need to do? So when we use Power Automate, okay, we need to prepare, we need to brainstorm what are the steps that we need to do, what are the sequence which is actually very important in order to complete the task, all the group of tasks that we need to do. Okay, for Power Automate, we have 5 types of Power Automate. Okay, but for this session, I'm only going to talk about the 4 types of Power Automate. Yeah. The first Power Automate is schedule flow. Okay, for example, like the one that some actually typed earlier about reminders. Okay, that is actually schedule flow. Yeah, that is actually schedule flow. Let's say for example, every end of the month, we need to prepare report. Okay, so we can actually set that as a schedule flow. So once that date, okay, let's say every 25th, we need to create a report. So once it hit 25th of the month, then it will create a report for us. Okay, provided the data is in place. If the data is not in place, then might actually get what we got last month. Okay, so it's very important. If we use the schedule flow and we want to create a report, we must make sure that all the data is in place and fully updated. Yeah. Okay, then we have automated flow. Automated flow meaning, let's say for example, I going to conduct a training. Okay, I actually prepared a Microsoft Forms and I asked those who interested to join the session to fill in the form. So once they fill in the form, they will immediately get a notification via email, okay, that their registration has been successful. Okay, and let's say for example, if I would like to send an invite, okay, I send an invite with all the links inside that email. I can do so by using the automated flow. Yeah. Okay, instant flow is something that we need to make sure that whenever we want to run it, we have to manually click the button. Okay, that is actually instant flow. Okay, any questions so far? I already explained about the 3 flows. Any question? Or let's say, which one do you think is applicable to what you have actually typed in the menti.com? Is it schedule flow or is it automated flow or is it instant flow? Anybody? Okay, instant flow is something that we start every time we need. Okay, we need to run that instant flow. Just let's say if you are familiar with macro in Excel, okay, and let's say if I need to format certain cell in Excel. So I, instead of creating a VBA to automatically run, I can I can actually press any shortcut key. And once I press that shortcut key, the macro will run. Yeah. Hilmi, does that make sense? Rick, yours can be schedule flow or you can also be automated or instant flow actually. Create my slides is instant flow. create your slide for reporting, right? You want to make sure that at the end of certain date, it will actually create a report for you. Eileen, let's say
No, actually it's to remind me to create the flow, create the slide.
that is schedule flow.
Oh, okay.
Because you know that you need, let's say for example, if you have a presentation on 20th of April, for example,
Okay.
so you want to be reminded to create your slide on the 15th, for example. Then you can actually create a schedule flow.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, another flow is UI, user interface. Okay, user interface is actually something that I really love. Okay, because the reason why I like to use UI flow is because, let's say for example, sometimes when we want to start our browser, okay, we already set to make sure that whenever we start our browser, all our WhatsApp, our email, and certain websites are already there. So we just need to start our browser and we don't have to open up any website. But let's say if we are actually using a shared computer, so it's not a good idea to set up whenever anybody start the browser, immediately they can see our WhatsApp messages, they can immediately see our email, they can immediately see all the kind of like secretive things. So what we can do is we can actually create a user interface flow. Once we created that, when we run that user interface flow, okay, it will do all the things that we want to do. So for example, I need to start my Chrome. Okay, and then in the Chrome, I want to make sure that my WhatsApp is there, my email is there. Okay, let's say I like to actually read newspaper. So maybe for example, the Star is there. Okay, but if I don't create a flow, I need to start my Chrome. Then I need to, even though it's already bookmarked, I need to actually start my WhatsApp. I need to start my email. So it's actually a process. So let's say if in a day, I would like to look at my browser maybe 3 or 4 times a day. So every 3 or 4 times a day, I need to repeat the step one by one. One by one. So once I create a user interface flow, I just need to click a button and then those website will be there already. So I don't have to kind of like to do every time one by one. Okay. Okay. Any question? Yes. Okay. I hope everybody still intact with your chair. Okay. So business process flow is actually more towards business corporate organization. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so business process flow is actually deals more with dynamics. Okay, let's say for example, if you have a marketing, right? You want to actually have a marketing team and you want to see how many times your company has been mentioned in either Twitter or maybe LinkedIn, etc. So we can also use business process flow so that we can gauge how popular or how what is the demand for our product, okay, via Twitter or also LinkedIn. Previously, we can actually connect to Facebook and also Instagram. Okay, unfortunately, after Facebook changed their not interface, API. They actually changed the API, so it was not. We were not able to actually connect Power Automate with Facebook and also Instagram. Okay, let me move on. Okay, so this is the schedule flow. Okay, so, let's say if I want to create a flow which run every day at 9 a.m., then I can use the schedule flow. Or let's say, for example, right, every morning you need to send an email to your boss, okay, or maybe just to say, "Hi boss, good morning." So you can actually set the schedule flow. Okay, he might be very touched because he thought that you remember to send email to him every day. Okay. Okay, instant flow, we already gone through that. Okay, user interface flow. You can actually, for user interface flow, you need to download to your desktop. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually what I meant earlier for the user interface flow. So let's say, for example, you need to open Chrome, you need to create a new tab. Okay, we are using Yahoo Mail, and then we need to create another tab, the star dictionary, and then we need to, let's say, for example, because we need to do multitasking, so I need to rearrange my window. Maybe Chrome I need to put on the left hand side, and then I need to start with Excel file. Okay, every day I'm using Excel file extensively, and also I use OneNote as well. So rather than doing all this every morning, okay, manually, I can actually record my steps. So rather than having to do how many 7 tasks, okay, I just need to click a button and immediately all these are done in a GIF. Okay. Okay, so this is actually if we want to use user interface. Okay, next is the demo. Okay, before we move on to demo, anything that anyone want me to add? Okay, so this is actually to send. I'm going to show how to do only the schedule flow. Okay, because the rest will be quite time consuming. Yeah, so we are not going to see the other two. Okay, let me. Okay. For Power Automate, okay, you can actually use Power Automate even if you have free account. Okay, just make sure that your email is actually registered with Microsoft. It will be better if you can use Hotmail or Outlook. Yeah, so if you can use Hotmail or Outlook, it will be much better to use Power Automate. For Power Automate, okay, if you notice, if you realize, whenever you register for this webinar, you immediately get an email that has my link. That has the link to the webinar. Okay, I actually use Power Automate to do so. Okay, the reason, if you look at the email, you can see that it's actually not my personal email, but the email that you got is actually from Power Automate. Okay, the reason why I use Power Automate as the email is to kind of like privacy. Because I don't want everybody to know my email address unless they already attended the webinar. So let's say if you need privacy, you can actually use that Power Automate email. But let's say if you feel that, of course, to your boss, you definitely cannot use Power Automate, right? Okay, and then the boss will know that this person. Okay, so if this is actually for your boss, you might want to consider to use your own email address rather than using the Power Automate. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, it's actually very simple to do this. Okay, I'm going to Power Automate. Okay, we are going to Power Automate. So in order to use Power Automate, if you go to your Hotmail account, okay, or Outlook account, you'll be able to see the 9 dots, top left corner. Okay, once you see that 9 dots, you can actually click that 9 dots. Go to all apps. Okay, by right, if you already use Power Automate, you'll be able to see Power Automate here. But sometimes, if this is your first time using Power Automate, then you have to go to all apps. So once you go to all apps, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see Power Automate. Okay, that's right. Okay, I'm using Office 365 here. So this might look a little bit different. Okay, so on the left hand side, okay, let's say if you're in Office 365 or the free version, okay, feel free. Okay, there's a video here which you can watch. Okay, it's very very good. Okay, and let's say if you need to do some backups, okay, you can actually try to search for the template. Okay, let's say for example, OneDrive backup. Okay, if you press enter, then you'll be able to see. Okay, if this is actually not what we want, we can always create that. Yeah, because sometimes what we would like to do, it might not be what other person want to do. Yeah. Okay, so we can go to create. Can you schedule? Don't worry, I'm just going to show this one. So we can just use schedule. Just add the flow name. For example, say good morning to boss. Okay, run this flow starting because I just want to show everyone what's going to happen. So we are going to start today, but it's not going to be 10 a.m. Okay, I'm going to start this at, let's say 3:30. Sorry, 4:30. Okay, repeat, not every minute, of course, every day. Yeah, and then create. Okay, so new step will be email. Okay, this is what I mentioned earlier. If you want the email sent by Automate, then you can use mail. But let's say if you using Office 365 Outlook, then you can use Outlook. Okay, Office 365 Outlook. If you are using the free version, if you have Hotmail or Outlook.com, then you can use Outlook.com. Okay, so let's say if I'm using Gmail, I can use Gmail. Okay, so if you have Gmail, you can also use Gmail. So I can just click Gmail. Okay, send email. So I will say that, let's say training I'm going to send to myself so that I can show everyone. Yeah. So subject will be good morning. Okay, and then good morning. Okay. Then we can save. Okay, so once we save, it's better to make sure that we test. Okay, we can test manually and then test. Run flow. Okay, here we will be able to know whether our flow is actually successful or not. Okay, if you, sorry. Okay, I managed to get the email. Good morning. Yeah. So you can actually customize using your own personal or your office email. Okay. So that is actually schedule flow. Okay. Is everybody okay so far? Is everybody okay? Still intact to your seat?
Okay.
Or your seat is already
Yes,
next to you?
Okay.
canggih lah. Yo.
Okay, so that is actually example of what we can do lah. Yeah. Okay, next is what we are going, oops, sorry. Okay, next is actually my demo. My second demo. Okay, which is to send email, sorry, not this one already done. Okay, next is actually to send email from forms. Okay, so for this one, I need everybody to help me. Okay, I'm going to send a link for my form. Okay, I'm going to send a link for the demo, and I hope everybody can help me to fill in. Okay, I already copy paste the link in the chat area. Okay, once you send the email, once you send the form, okay, once you completed filling the form and then send, try to see if you manage to get the email. Did you manage to get the email, Rick? Okay, good. So you can see that it's actually immediately. Yeah. So you have an option. If you want to maintain your privacy, so you can actually use the mail. But let's say if you want to have a personal touch, then you can either use outlook.com or Gmail account. Yeah. So then you'll be able to get immediately. So this is actually one of the ways whereby when you have any registration, you don't have to closely monitor and check whether they manage to get or not the confirmation, etc. Yeah. In the email, you can also send any attachment you need if you want to. Okay, so this is actually how I created, okay, the email. Okay, so first, of course, I need to create a form. Okay, I need to make sure that my form is already there. Okay, then I need to make sure I created an Excel file. Okay, so I have another file, Excel file. So inside Excel file, I have all the information. Yeah. So let's say if you need to, let's say in your registration form, right? You need extra detail. Then you have to put in. Because let's say, for example, in your confirmation email, you need to also have maybe the webinar title. Let's say, for example, this is actually for multiple webinar. You can do so as well. Yeah. So maybe you need to have information about webinar title, the date, time, etc. And let's say if you are the participant name, okay, you need to know the person who registered. Maybe you need to know the contact number. Okay, so you need to create a form that has all the information. Yeah. Then once you created your Excel file, then only you create your flow. First, you need to make sure that you have a flow for the Microsoft Forms. Okay, then you need to create a flow to get the response details. And of course, you need to transfer all the details from the forms into your Excel table. Because if not, then how are we going to send the email to the those who registered? Yeah. So that is actually our second demo. Okay. Creating a form and then immediately send email to them. Yes, L. Once they registered, they immediately get the confirmation. Okay. Before I get to know Microsoft Power Automate, right? I created a free webinar last year. And I have to manually reply to each email. Okay, just imagine if you have 50 registration. You need to reply individually each email. Okay, and then you need to send you need to send the link to the webinar, etc. Of course, you can do that using Outlook. Okay, or you can use Microsoft Word to do so, to send the email. But you still need to monitor because let's say if you already created your mail merge, let's say for example the second day, okay, let's say you send that form on the 10th, okay, on the 12th you already created mail merge, send the invitation, etc. But on the 13th, 14th and 15th, okay, because your webinar is going to start on the 20th, you might get more registration. Okay, and if you forgot to monitor, then alamak kan. Okay, so this is actually the advantage. Okay, the best thing about Power Automate. This is the reason why I fall in love with Power Automate. Okay, so that is actually sending email once they registered. Okay, ready for our next demo or any question before we move on to the third?
Yep, okay.
So far, okay.
Yep.
Hear me? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. Okay, the next demo, okay, is something that we have to do. Okay, especially doesn't matter who we are. Tak adalah, not really, I mean in the sense lah. But let's say if we are in the business, it's something that we have to do over and over again. Yeah. For example, once we finish conducting or organize our training, we have to send invoice Okay, we have to send invoice to the training provider or the customer, etc. Okay, or let's say if we are in manufacturing, we need to send invoices as well. Okay, doesn't matter where we are. So the next demo will show us about instant flow, whereby every time where we need to create an invoice, we are going to run that flow. Okay, so next is, okay, we are going to send, oh sorry, okay, we are going to send invoice via email. Okay, so in order to send invoice via email, first we need to make sure that we have an updated Excel file. So let's say, for example, we have training at a certain date. So we know that after that training, we have to send an invoice. So we need to update that Excel file. Okay, so once we already update the Excel file, we can create a flow to send an email. Okay, so once they send the email, the invoice, okay, the email that has the invoice to the training provider or anyone, okay, then we need to update the column. Okay, because if we don't update the column, Power Automate might resend the invoice more than once. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is my flow. This is actually send invoice to training provider. So prior to creating this flow, I'm sorry, excuse me for a while. Ella wanted to take over my voice. Okay, so in order, before we can actually create the invoice to training provider flow, first of all, we must have a file. Okay, I already created a file. Okay, this is my so-called invoice Excel file. Okay, so let's say, for example, I have training in here. So I want to send email. Okay, let's say if the flow already sent email, I want to make sure that this column is updated. Okay, so I'm going to copy. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to copy this one. Okay, so once I have this, I already update in my Excel. Okay, I can actually run my flow. So I can send invoice to training provider. Okay, because this is actually instant. Okay, you can see it's actually say instant. Okay, so I can just click run flow. Okay, so if we look at this one, okay, it will take a while. So if you look earlier, there's no done here. Okay, and I already got the invoice. It's the so-called invoice. Yeah. So this is actually the invoice because I just copied. Yeah. So I got 2. If you look at the time, it's actually 4:49. Okay. Once the flow, okay, the Power Automate send email to that training provider or the customer, okay, this column will be updated to done. Okay, because we don't want accidentally send more than once. They will actually get mad. Okay, any question? Any question, anyone? Hilmi, you don't need to create multiple Excel file because the most important part is your email address, this part. Okay, and then you need to have all your details in Microsoft Excel. For example, of course, you need to have your training fees, yeah, so that you'll be able to put that training fees in your invoice. Yeah, and then you also need to have that training detail. So the training name, and let's say for example, if you put the location in your invoice, then definitely you need to have that location information. Okay. Yes. Actually, Power Automate has been used in many industries. Yeah, it has been used in many industries. It has been used by Coca-Cola. Okay, not pro Coca-Cola here, but Coca-Cola actually use Power Automate. Yeah, and banking, finance also used banking. Let's say for example, they would like they have customers applied for loans. So previously they have multiple layers of approval. Okay, they have multiple layers of approval. They have multiple SOP. No, they have one SOP, but the SOP has multiple layers. So once they actually use Power Automate, they actually save 2/3 of their time. Okay, so they can actually process more loans application, and they can actually provide more efficient service to their customer. Okay. It also has been used in marketing sectors. Okay, marketing sectors. Let's say, for example, they need to get all the information from web. Okay, they want to know how popular are their product, or how many times has their company get mentioned in Twitter or LinkedIn or any other platform. Okay, so they can use Power Automate to gather the information, and then they can process that information. Then it will actually expedite any marketing or any promotion that they need to do. Okay, any other question? Is everybody feel motivated to use Power Automate after this? Welcome. Okay, so I really hope what have been presented earlier, okay, will motivate everyone to use Power Automate. Any question? Oh, okay, sure. Is this the one, Linda? The four below this one. Oh, okay. If you want, okay, let's say if you all want the slide, I can actually share the slide with you. This one, is it, Linda? And this one. If you want, I can just email to you. Okay, so to recap, okay, we'll do that. Okay, so to recap what we have covered, earlier until now is that Power Automate is actually to make us able to run our tasks, to perform our tasks efficiently. Okay, because it will cut short the time that we need to do mundane tasks. For example, we know that every day we have certain list of tasks that we need to do, and that is actually fixed every day. So we can actually cut short rather than doing those tasks every day manually one by one. We can just need to click a button. Yeah. Okay, then we can use scheduled flow. Okay. To get the brownie points from your boss, especially. Okay, or let's say if you don't want to forget anybody birthday, you can actually use Power Automate to send email. But if you do so, please make sure to change your wording every year. Don't forget to change the wording. Okay, after 2 or 3 years, they will realize, is this something they just forward or is it recycled, something like that. Okay, so make sure if you use this for birthday, for anniversary, make sure to change the wording every year. Okay, and we can also create instant flow. Okay, whenever we need to run, we just click a button. Okay, and if you install Power Automate in your computer, in your PC, you can actually run user interface flow, whereby you can run multiple tasks, okay, just at a click of a button. Yeah, can be done, Linda. Okay, so those are the takeaways for today. Yeah, I really hope that this will definitely motivate everybody to learn more about Power Automate. Okay. Any question?
Yes, Sue.
Yes, L.
Can Power Automate be downloaded and used by a non
Office
subscribed
365. Okay,
Office
Power
365 user?
Automate. In order to download the Power Automate, which is to use the UI, user interface, you have to have Office 365 account. If you don't have that, then you won't be able to use that.
I
But
see.
schedule flow and also instant flow, okay, you can actually use that even though you don't have any Office 365.
Okay, okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
just provided you have the Microsoft account, which is Hotmail and also Outlook.com.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Lynn, Shahmi, Adiba, Mariam. Mariam is my mother actually. Okay, any Most welcome, Linda. I'll send the presentation to those registered. Okay, sure. Okay. Hold on eh. Okay, that's all for today. Okay. Again, thank you so much for attending. Okay. Need to explore, yes, definitely. Need to explore the Office 365. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, for dropping by. Yeah. Really appreciate the crowds. Okay, but I definitely hope that this will motivates everybody. Okay, to learn about Power Automate and to use it in your everyday life. Okay, thank you.